Hi everyone, it's Matt Barnes here. I'm the lead trainer at Safety in the Markets, and in this video I'm going to talk about how much money you need to start trading. And this is a question that we often get asked at Safety in the Market, and although there's not one single correct answer that's going to be suitable for everybody, I can certainly give you a rough guide as to an appropriate amount that you can put into your trading account when you're first learning how to trade. So the good news if you're a brand new trader looking to start out is that it's never been easier for you to open a trading account. There's loads of brokers out there, and most of them will let you open an account with either a zero deposit or a very small minimum deposit. So there's not going to be any financial restriction on you opening a trading account. In fact, most brokers will actually let you deposit your money directly from a credit card, so you can literally start trading in just a few minutes. But we certainly don't recommend that you do that, and I do have to stress that, and that's for a couple of reasons. Firstly, we don't recommend that you borrow money to start trading. Trading brings its own level of pressure and stress with it. As a trader, you can choose how much pressure you're going to put on yourself with your trading, but we certainly don't recommend that you start off with that additional pressure of borrowed money, particularly when there's going to be high credit card interest rates being charged every month, and you're going to have to pay that back. So not a good idea, in our opinion, to deposit from a credit card and get started that way. You're actually better off just going away and saving for a few months to get your initial deposit, or maybe selling some things online through a site like eBay or Gumtree to get some extra cash into your account, and then start trading when you're ready to trade, rather than just running in and trying to get by with a quick deposit from the credit card. All right, so with that all in mind, how much do you actually need? Well, people often say to us, is $500 enough? So we're going to examine that from the point of view of what $500 can actually do for you if you're actually trading. If you've got $500 in your trading account, what can you actually buy? Well, funnily enough, $500 is the minimum share parcel size that you can trade on the Australian Stock Exchange in one trade. So let's say you want to buy shares in ANZ Bank. You can't just go to the stock exchange and say, right, ANZ's trading for $25 a share. I'd like 2 of those, please. Here's my $50. You have to buy a minimum $500 parcel size. So you might think, well, $500, it's enough. I can trade 1 parcel of shares. I can get started. The problem with that is that you have to pay brokerage on your trades. You have to pay a little bit of money when you get in and a little bit of money when you get out. Now, in a share size like this, it's only going to be $5 to $10, but it still means $500 technically is not enough to start with shares. You have to put a little bit more money in. And even then, that $500 isn't going to get you very far because you can take 1 stock. You can take 1 trade in 1 stock. So that's not going to get you far. There are leveraged products that you can trade, like contracts for difference, for example, or foreign exchange. So if you were to take a foreign exchange position, technically that $500 deposit that you've got in your account, you could use that to take a $100,000 position on the Aussie dollar against the US dollar currency pair. Now, if you've never traded currencies before, that's okay. Keep an eye out on our channel. We're going to be releasing an FX trading course for free before the end of the year. So that's 2018. Keep an eye out for that one. But a $500 deposit, you can take a $100,000 position. That's massive leverage. That's a 0.5% deposit to get into that size trade. And you might think, great, I don't need a lot of money. I can trade this huge amount of leverage. But there is a problem with that. The problem is, if that trade moves even 1 point against you, you're going to receive what's called a margin call from your broker. And that's where your broker is going to ring you up and say, hey, look, you need $500 in your account to hold this position. Your account has now gone below $500. You need to either put some more money in or we're going to close the position for you. Okay, so not exactly what you want to hear when you pick up the phone. So make sure you don't overstretch like this. So the verdict, is $500 enough? I'd have to say no, it's too tight. It's going to restrict what you can do as a trader. You'll find that A, there's not a lot of trades that you can take, and then B, even when you can take the trades, you're going to be tempted to push those trades as hard as you can to try and squeeze as much as you can out of your $500 account. And look, even if you do get good results, I mean, you know, if you buy $500 worth of shares and they double in value and you make $500, that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to take time. If you're putting a lot of effort into your trading and you're looking at learning how to trade and becoming a really good trader, you're not going to get a big enough return off $500 to necessarily make that worth your while. Having said that, if you're just looking to dip your toe in the water before you actually go out and put a full deposit in, sure, put $500 in if you want, so that you can see how everything works. But if that's what you're trying to do, you actually don't even have to deposit anything, because most brokers are going to let you open what's called a virtual account or a demonstration or demo account, and you can do what's called paper trading or practice trading without real money. So it's just pretend money. You can see how everything works, and they'll let you do that for free without even depositing any money. So again, I don't think it's really worth depositing $500 in the account. I don't think that's enough. So another common amount that people ask us about is, well, what about $50,000? They say, look, I've got $50,000 in a term deposit. It's only earning 1.5%, 2%, 3% interest. Why don't I take that out and trade with it? Or they say, I've got money in my super account. Why don't I take $50,000 and trade with that? Now, I'll talk about whether or not that's a good idea shortly, but let's just look at the number 50,000. Is it enough? Well, 50,000 is definitely more than enough to get started. If you've got $50,000, you can take obviously much larger positions than you could if you had $500 in your account. So obviously $50,000 buys you a lot more shares than $500 does. Another benefit though of having a larger account size is that you can take several positions at once. Let's say you looked at the top 30 stocks in the US, for example, and you narrowed it down to 5 that you wanted to trade. It's very hard to take multiple positions when you've only got a very small account size. If you've got a larger account size like 50,000, you can spread that money out over a range of different shares. You could take 5 $10,000 trades. You could take 10 $5,000 trades, or any combination like that. So there's a lot more flexibility with that larger account size. Having said that, it's also a lot of capital for a beginner to be risking in the market. You've got to ask yourself, do you have any trading experience, and have you done any paper trading? So paper trading is where you look back over what a market has done in the past, and you enter some buying and selling orders, or you write down some buying and selling points, and you test your strategies out. You test your trading skill to see if you could have made some money during that period of the market. Another way of paper trading is opening up a demonstration account or a demo account, and just trading with pretend money there. That's a good way to let you see whether your trading skills are actually good enough at this point to take into the market. And a lot of people find out that actually there's a little bit more that they have to learn before they jump into the market. So it's a good idea to be on top of that before you go and put your hard-earned money at risk by depositing it into your brokerage account. Now, the reason that I get you to ask these questions is that a lot of people come into trading having been successful in other areas of their life, okay? Everyone's got something that they're good at. Maybe you've been a lawyer, you've been practicing law for 30 years, you know the law inside out, and it can give you a really good sense of accomplishment and achievement, and it's great what you've done. It is a very big achievement, but it doesn't have a lot to do with the skills that are required for trading. It's a very different skill set. Again, you might be a really good carpenter or plumber, or good at just about any job, but trading is very different, okay? Because there's a lot of different skills that you're going to need to test and acquire over that time. There's the knowledge of how markets work and the mechanics of taking trades. There's a discipline factor. There's an emotional factor. So how are you going to respond if you lose money? What's that going to do to your trading and your psychology? How are you going to respond if you have a big win? Is it going to get to your head? These are all things that you don't necessarily know until you step in the markets and start taking some trades. The best example I can give you there, or the analogy I can give you, imagine that you've got a clever little, say, 6 or 7-year-old child, and they decide that they want to start their own business. If they came up to you and said, Mommy or Daddy, I want to set up a lemonade stand. Can you give me $100 so that I can buy cups and buy my ingredients and maybe do some advertising, or put up a little sign? If they came to you like that, you'd probably say, yeah, sure, I'll bankroll you $100 and see how you go. But if they came back from a McDonald's party, for example, and said, oh, Mummy, Daddy, I've just been to this great restaurant called McDonald's. I want to start my own McDonald's franchise. You'd probably tell them, hang on a minute, just wait a little bit, get a little bit of experience, try something smaller, try a smaller enterprise first before going and committing a large sum of money, to purchase a McDonald's franchise license. All right, so the verdict here basically is that yes, $50,000 is plenty, but it's actually probably more than you need to learn. And a good quote that I can give you is from our founder, David Bowden. David said that you can learn to trade just as well on a $5,000 account as you can on a $50,000 account. And keep that in mind when you're starting out. You are actually learning. Again, regardless of how much success you've achieved in other fields of life, you may be able to come in and replicate all of that success, but you won't know until you've tried it and you've got a little bit of a track record. Okay, so we recommend, or we suggest, $5,000 is a pretty good amount to start out with. You don't need too much more, and you probably don't want too much less to start out. $5,000 is going to be enough for you to trade in most markets, and you can probably take several trades at once. You could have some CFD trades on some shares. You could take a few currency trades, maybe a futures trade or two, and get a little bit of experience without adding unnecessary stress by going ahead and putting all of your money into the market in one go. Okay. Now, before you actually get started, consider this. Consider these 4 questions. Number 1, what's your trading experience? How much trading experience do you have? Have you been following markets? Have you ever done anything like this before? Have you been tracking prices? Have you done some paper trading? Have you tested your buying and selling strategies? Ask yourself how much you're prepared to risk if you're wrong. David Bowden said, never ever put frightened money into a trading account. Frightened money is money that you're frightened of losing. You're terrified of losing it. And if you're putting money in that you're terrified of losing, it's going to make it very difficult for you to make good trading decisions and stick with your trading plan. Okay, and make good trading decisions are really important, obviously, in the market. And as I said earlier, there's enough pressure and enough stress in trading at times, depending on how much you put yourself through. You don't want to put unnecessary stress there by putting in money that you can't afford to lose. Okay. Third point there, ask yourself how much you want to make from trading. Okay. Consider your target. If you're planning to make millions and millions of dollars from trading each year, a $5,000 trading account is not going to be enough to do that, especially when you're just starting out and you're trying to learn the ropes a little bit. Okay, so think about how much you're prepared to deposit into your account. Think about how much you want to make, and then take those figures and go and do some paper trading. Go and look over some past markets, do some real-time paper trading, and see if it's actually possible to use that amount that you've got to make the amount of money that you're trying to make. Okay, it'll let you know if your expectations are realistic or not, and that's always important. Okay. The final thing that I want you to consider is, will you be able to sleep at night? And to me, that's the most important thing. There's no point putting your time and effort into learning a little bit about how to trade and then not being able to sleep at night and totally ruining your life. Okay, it'll make your life miserable, and then the lack of sleep and the stress associated with that is going to be detrimental to your trading anyway, and that's just going to cause more losses. You'll have less sleep. It's just a downward spiral. You don't want to go down there. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's ultimately up to you how much money you put into your trading account. As I said, we suggest an amount somewhere in the vicinity of $5,000 to get yourself started in trading. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please go ahead and click on the subscribe button below if you haven't already subscribed to our channel to ensure that you're kept up to date with all of our upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.